ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सङ्गणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौर्तुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुर्भ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। We'll chant all the verses from Upadeshamrita. वाचो वेगं मनसः क्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगं उदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान् यो विषहेत धीरः सर्वामपि मां पृथिवीं सशिष्यात्। अत्याहारः प्रयासश्च कुचल्पो नियम आग्रहः जनसङ्गश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति। उत्साहान्निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्कर्म प्रवर्तनात् सङ्गत्यागात् सतो वृत्तिः षड्भिर्भक्तिः प्रसिद्ध्यति। ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यम् आख्याति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजयते चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्। कृष्णेति यस्य कीर्तं मनसा ध्रियेत दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशम् शुश्रूषया भजनविज्ञमनन्यमन्या निन्दादिशून्यहृदमीप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या दृष्टैः स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैर्न प्राकृतत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्येत् गङ्गाम्बसां खलु बुध फेन पङ्केर्ब्रह्म द्रवत्वमपगच्छति नीरधर्मैः स्यात् कृष्णनामचरितादिसिताप्यविद्या पित्तोपतप्तरसनस्य न रोचिकानु यन्त्वादरात् अनुदिनं खलु सैव जुष्टा स्वाद्विक्रमात् भवति तद्गदमूलहन्त्री तन्नामरूपचरितादिसुकीर्तनानो स्मृत्यो क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य तिष्ठन् व्रजेत तदनुरागि जनानुगामी कालं नयेत् अखिलमित्युपदेशसारम् वैकुण्ठाजनितो वरामधुपुरी तत्रापि रासोत्सवात् विन्दारण्यमुदारपाणिरमणात् तत्रापि गोवर्धनः राधाकुण्डमिहापि गोकुलपते प्रेमामृताप्लावनात् कुर्यात् अस्य विराजतो गिरितटे सेवां विवेकी न कः। कर्मिभ्यः परितो हरे प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययोर्ज्ञानिनास् तेभ्यो ज्ञानविमुक्तभक्तिपरमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठास्ततः तेभ्यस्तापशुपालपङ्कजदृशास्ताभ्योऽपि साराधिकः इष्टा तत्त्वदीयं तदीयसरसि तां नाश्रयेत् कः कृति कृष्णस्योच्चैः प्रणयवसतिः प्रेयसीभ्योऽभिराधा कुण्डं चास्यामुनिभिरभितस्तादृगेव व्यधायि यत्पृष्ठिरप्यलमसुलभं किं पुनर्भक्तिभाजा प्रेमेदं सकृदपि सरः स्नातुराविष्करोति. So today is our seventh day of studying Nectar of Instruction, and we'll look at the verse number 5. By the way, wish you all a very happy Ekadashi. It's Ekadashi for you today. So in this verse 5, Srila Rupa Goswami is going to continue the topic which was brought up in text 4, which is association of devotees. He said in text 4 that there are six ways to exchange love with devotees, right? What is that? Dudati pratigrinnati kuyamakhyati prichhati bhungte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. Now, these six exchanges are to be done, but they should be done with whom? What kind of devotee? What are the different types of devotees? Right? That is also very important to know. Hmm? So, therefore, in this verse, which is 5, and verse number 6, there'll be explanation about uh, types of devotee and how do we see the highest devotee. Right? So, this verse talks about three types of devotee. First line is Krishneti yasya giritam manasa driyeta. Whoever takes the name of Krishna, that is first category. Then dikshasti chet pranati bhischa bhajantam isham. Second category is someone who has taken diksha or initiation and is engaged in bhajan or devotional service to Krishna. And third, Nindadi shunya hridam ipsita sangalabdhya. Nindadi shunya hridam. Shushushaya bhajana vigya mananya manya nindadi shunya hridam. One whose heart is free from the tendency of criticizing anyone, seeing faults in anyone. That's the third category. Fine. Hmm? First, second, and third. So one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. That means anyone who has chanted the name of Krishna. That person should be mentally honored. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation diksha and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So, three types of devotees are mentioned. First one is Kanishta, lowest. Second one is Madhyama, intermediate stage. The third one is Uttama, highest. Yes? Hmm. So, in the purport, now Srila Prabhupada will explain that there are three kinds of devotees, three categories of devotees, and we have to accordingly deal with them. It's very important that we cannot deal similarly with everyone. Of course, our dealings have to be respectful in all ways, whether it's a new devotee, lower category devotee, or it's a higher category of devotee. Respect is towards everyone because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's uh, underlying statement is that Inadapi Sunichena, Taror Eva Sahishnuna, Amanina Mantena. So you give respect to everyone. You give respect to even non-devotees. You give respect even to other living entities. So one has to have respectful attitude towards any devotee. But then to what degree you show that respect, that has to be different based on who that devotee is, right? Hmm? So for Kanishta, you mentally offer respect. For Madhyama, you physically go down. And for Uttama, you serve and you also associate closely. Hmm, that's Uttama. Fine. So Prabhupada writes in the purport now. In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. It's very important to association is such a less understood subject matter. Association doesn't just mean we are spending time together. That's not association. Of course, if you spend time together, you may learn something from the other person. You may be influenced by the other person. But association doesn't just mean that. Hmm? So association means uh, you have similar taste, you have similar approach to Krishna consciousness, you know such personalities around you, and then you closely take guidance from them to make progress in your own devotional service. Mhm. Right. uh, that's association, and we have to intelligently apply ourselves to such an association. Right. That's very important. Careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with three types of devotees: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. Hmm? We have to learn how to deal with them. Now, who is a Kanishta Adhikari? That's explained in the first paragraph. The Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyama Adhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master. So, Prabhupada is talking about Harinam initiation and spiritual initiation. So, I hope you understand what is he referred to by these two initiations. The first one is Harinam, and then the second one is Brahman Diksha. So then he says, after you have taken Brahman Diksha, then you are supposedly at the platform of Madhyama, right? Hmm? So Madhyama Adhikari. So one who has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyama Adhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. And the Uttama Adhikari or highest devotee is one who is very advanced in devotional service. And Uttama Adhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association of and service of such a Mahabhagavata, a perfect Vaishnava, are most desirable. Right? Okay. So, um, Srila Prabhupada calls the first initiation as experimental. You know, experimental in what sense? When he says the first initiation is experimental in one of his lectures. So, what could that mean? Experimental. To see if the devotee is serious. Yeah. So, it's kind of a check and balance for both the spiritual master and the devotee, the candidate. That is this path for me? Can I continue on this? Do I want to become more serious on it or not? So it's like that. Therefore, complete initiation is considered when one has received both first and second, right? First initiation as well as second initiation. Though we know that first initiation is quite sufficient, as Jiva Goswami has personally said, that Harinam Diksha is sufficient to make spiritual progress. But at the same time, we know second initiation also helps a lot, Gayatri Diksha, right? Mm. Therefore, it is both are very important. Both are very important. And um, the second one helps to bring discipline to the person, punctuality, cleanliness, which are important qualities required to make progress in Krishna consciousness, right? So that is Madhyama stage. And then the next is Uttama stage. Next paragraph. Let's read the next paragraph. Anjali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. One should not remain a Kanishta Adhikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Archam eva hare puja
Archayam eva haraye
अर्चाय एवं हरे पूजम यह श्रद्धा
pujam yah shraddhaye hate
पूजम यह श्रद्धा हते
na
not
tad bhakteshu chanyeshu sa bhaktah prakritah smritah.
a
Hmm.
person who is very faithful engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple but who does not know how to behave towards devotees or people in general is called a prakrit, prakrata bhakta or
Akrita.
kanishta.
How come after almost 1 year of studying Bhakti Shastri, you don't know that if there is a dash on A, it has to be pronounced as A. Hmm.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
So many shlokas you have memorized. So
And
at least this
practice,
much you
Prabhuji.
should be careful about. No? It's Prakrita, not Prakrita. Prakrita.
Prakrata Bhakta or Kanistha Adhikari. One therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanistha Adhikari to the platform of Madhyama Adhikari. The Madhyama Adhikari is described in Shrimad Bhagavatam in this way. Ishvara tad adhineshu baleshu the
Galisheshu dvishatsu cha
प्रेमा मैत्री कृपा
eksha.
कृपेक्षा यहाँ करोति स मध्यमा. The Madhyama Adhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friend with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature.
Thank you, Madhuri. Hare Krishna. So first of all, Prabhupada talks about Kanishta Adhikari, right? Kanishta. Kanishta means low. lower. Adhikari. What is meant by the word adhikari? Adhikar.
Capacity to serve.
Yes, very good. That is adhikar. So adhikar means capacity or qualification. And one who possesses it is called adhikari, right? So adhikar is the capacity or qualification. One who possesses is adhikari. So kanishta adhikari means one whose capacity to serve or to know, to love Krishna, or the qualification to serve or know or love Krishna is very low. Mhm. That's kanishta adhikari. Adhikar. So now this is interesting. You see, uh, it's not about like some people say, right? I have great love for Krishna. One may say, I have great love for Krishna. But then the question here arises, does your heart have so much of capacity to love Krishna? Because if Krishna is so pure, you also have to be so pure to love him, isn't it? Hmm. Uh, it's not possible that I may have some sentiments towards Krishna. I may have some attraction towards Krishna. But to say I have great love for Krishna, that means your heart should also have that much capacity, isn't it? Uh, Therefore, the word adhikar here basically also tells us that as our capacity increases to love Krishna, we advance in devotional service of Krishna consciousness. Kanishta is someone who has very less capacity to love Krishna, very low capacity, less capacity. And just because that person's consciousness is not yet developed properly. So that person doesn't have capacity to love Krishna. Mhm. Prabhupada explains how that person's consciousness is not so much developed. So he gives this explanation from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Archayam eva hare pujam yashraddhayate. A person is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave towards devotees or people in general. It's called Bhagavatas. Why Prakrita? Prakrita, sorry. Prakrita means a devotee who is influenced by the three modes of material nature. Prakrita. So that person doesn't know how to behave with people in general or towards the devotees. But that person has deep affection or attraction, apparently, for the deities. Right? So that's Kanishta. Because that person thinks God is limited to the temple, or God is limited to the church, or God is limited to the mosque, or God is limited to Quran, God is limited to Bible, God is limited to Bhagavad Gita, or my guru is the only guru. There is no other guru in this world. That kind of mentality is Kanishta, right? One prophet, one guru, one scripture, uh, one God. Kanishta mentality, isn't it? Hmm. Is our concept of mm, God. Are we monotheistic?
No, no, Prabhuji.
Are we monotheistic just like the Islam followers and Christianity followers? Are we monotheistic? Do we believe in one God?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Only
But
one?
polymorphic, more multiple forms.
Yeah, very good. So our approach to understanding Krishna is not monotheism. It is polymorphic monotheism. Polymorphic monotheism means though there is one Lord, but that one Lord exists eternally in multiple forms. Isn't it? Correct? Right? And that one God sends his representatives in multiple forms, in multiple places, at multiple times. Isn't it? So therefore, Sanatan Dharma or Vaishnava Dharma has the concept of not just one, it has the concept of one and the many. Isn't it correct? Hmm. So, a Kanishta will not understand all those things. Therefore, a Kanishta is, you can say a Kanishta is very narrow in knowledge, understanding, uh, approach. So, that's neophyte devotee. Fine. Okay. Mhm. And next is Madhyama. So then a Madhyama goes little beyond Kanishta. The Madhyama understands that Krishna is not just within the deity, Krishna also manifests within the heart of the devotee. So I need to also see Krishna in the heart of the devotee, not just in the deity, right? And therefore I need to properly respect the devotees, behave well towards them. That's Madhyama Adhikari, Madhyama Vaishnava. Mhm. So Madhyama Vaishnava's qualities are given in this verse from Bhagavatam. Four qualities. You know them. It is repeated many a times in Prabhupada books. Four qualities of a Madhyama Vaishnava. Ishvara tad adhineshu balisheshu dvishatsu cha prema maitri kripopeksha yah karoti saha Madhyamaha. It's very easy to memorize if you know a little bit Sanskrit. See, the four types of people with whom the Madhyama deals are given in this verse. It's simple. First is Ishvara, then Tat Adhina. Adhina means subordinate. Who is subordinate to the Ishvara? The devotees. Hmm? Bali Sheshu. Bali Sheshu means innocent, childlike. And Dvishatsu means envious, Dvesha. So four kinds of people. Ishvara, the Lord, the Adhineshu, the devotees, Bali Sheshu, the innocent people, Vishatsucha, the envious people. So what does a Madhyamadhikari Vaishnava do or behave? How does that Vaishnava behave towards these four categories of people? For Ishvara, he has prema, which means love. Hmm? For the devotees, Tat Adhineshu, he has maitri, which means what? Maitri means friendship. Hmm? Bali Sheshu. For the innocent, he has kripa. Kripa means mercy, compassion. Dvishatsucha, for the envious, he has upeksha. Upeksha means remaining indifferent, neglect them, avoid them. Upeksha, right? So, yaha karoti, one who does so, yaha karoti, sa madhyamaha. A person is a madhyamadhikari. You understand, right? This is how we can know this verse. Four categories of personalities, four ways of behavior. Love for the Lord, friendship towards the devotees, merciful towards the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. That's Madhyamadikari. Okay. Next paragraph. Yes. Neha Shri, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandot Pranam. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajiyas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava and obeisances should be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhuji, could you please scroll forward? Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttama Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. Shall I read
Thank you,
further?
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So this purport, it almost revolves around a Madhyamadikari Vaishnava, talking to us that how Madhyamadikari is, or actually that one should try to become a Madhyamadikari. Hmm? So Kanisha should try to rise to the platform of Madhyama. That's the main uh, style of writing here by Srila Prabhupada. Uttamadhikari Vaishnavas, they don't really need any instructions because they're already on the Uttama platform, right? So we can also understand that Prabhupada has written these books for instructing those who are on the Kanishta platform or Madhyama platform. Those who are on Uttama platform, they don't need such instructions. They are already elevated and advanced, and they are very much in connection with Krishna. Krishna is guiding them from within. So here he's telling that how a Kanishta should become a Madhyama, right? One should be serious in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master. Mm. So those who are Prakrita Sahajayas, how we should deal with them? We should respect them within our mind, but we should not closely associate with them. Um, we should associate with Madhyama or Uttama. That's the best. Okay. Uh, Prabhupada writes here, those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they're eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. Hmm. So there may be people who are innocent in nature, but they may not really always accept the instructions from pure devotees or guidelines or guidance from pure devotees. They may have innocence, but they may not be obedient. So those people cannot be helped. One has to be innocent, not crooked in nature, and also one has to be obedient. When one can take the instructions given by the pure devotees, the spiritual master, and then seriously engage in Krishna consciousness. Now the next is Um, talking about the Uttama Vaishnava. Uttama Vaishnava, Prabhupada says that such a Vaishnava is very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and is always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. So he's talking about acharyas, who are always thinking about delivering the fallen souls, great personalities, right? Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttamadhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. Okay. Any questions so far?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Here it is mentioned that Prabhu, a little bit
Up?
regarding Prakrata Sahajas
Yeah.
attached to woman, money, and intoxication. But when we are associating with our devotees, these symptoms we may not come to know, especially the woman and intoxication. So, how to?
So when we are talking about here, someone who is attached to women, money, and intoxication, you will come to know. Why you will not come to know? If you're associating with someone, you will come to know that that person has too much of attachment towards sense enjoyment. You'll come to know. Here we are not talking about, see, here the words, the statement of Prabhupada is not that someone is grihastha, or someone is thinking of becoming a grihastha, or someone uh, has a relationship with a lady, right? Or a lady has a relationship with a man, but they are committed to each other. So that kind of attachment is not being spoken about here. You see, like for example, a husband is there. So a husband will naturally be attached to his wife, no?
No, I'm not talking about that relationship.
Correct. Yeah, so then when it said attachment to women, here it's being talked about those people who are always thinking about that kind of sense gratification with opposite sex.
And that too, here it is talking about the initiated devotee who is thinking of woman, money, and intoxication too.
Correct. So you see, for example, some people they may take initiation just for namesake without working on their inner paths or bad qualities inside. Right? So then those people will never work on their attachment for opposite sex or attachment for money, for name and fame, all that. So it's wrong or unhealthy to associate with such devotees at all. Completely wrong, right? Hmm. So here, what is being said about is those who, in the garb of devotional service, they do sense gratification. Basically, they want to only do a show of devotional service. So that you will come to know very easily if you are little sincere and you associate with someone close. You will come to know whether that person is seriously practicing Krishna consciousness or that person is just making a show of Krishna consciousness. You understand now, Guruji?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, because we don't have to take it to that extreme level that someone has even little attachment towards the opposite sex. So then that will not be, or someone has a very subtle attachment towards that, then that's very difficult to identify. You'll not be able to identify that. Isn't it? So, of course, if someone is not pure, one is not a Goswami, then it is very clearly mentioned that you don't closely associate with such a devotee, right?
No.
Mm. But if we become too, what do you call, if we narrow down this statement to this, that anyone who has any little attachment for woman or man or money, then stay away. Then you will have to stay away from most of the people, isn't it?
Correct.
Right. Correct, isn't it? Mm.
Hare Krishna,
What do you say?
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, Uttama Adhikari, Diksha Guru has to be Uttama Adhikari.
Diksha Guru has to be,
Uttama Adhikari.
Diksha Guru has to be, it's best if the Diksha Guru is Uttamadhikari. It is best. Though Prabhupada says that even Madhyamadhikari Vaishnava can become a Diksha Guru. But it is best if the Diksha Guru is Uttamadhikari. Yeah. Right. Even a Madhyamadhikari can become sometimes. But
Sometimes
best,
Madhyama, because there is no, because Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, that means maybe a sannyasi or maybe grahastha, na, Prabhuji. Can be a
who?
grahastha or maybe
Who? Uttamadhikari.
Uttama Adhikari or Madhyama Adhikari, maybe grahastha or maybe sannyasi. Is it correct?
Yeah, it can be anyone. Ashram
Ceremony.
has no connection with that.
So,
It can be brahmachari, it can be grihastha, it can be vanaprastha, it can be sannyasi, anyone.
uh, so that means if the Diksha Guru is Uttama Adhikari, it is good, best.
Yeah, if Diksha Guru is Uttamadhikari, it is best. Right? If it's not Uttadhikari, Madhyamadhikari is also doable in certain circumstances. But Diksha Guru should not be a Kanishta Adhikari. Then there'll be a little problem.
Siksha Guru can be all three.
Siksha Guru, no, cannot. You see, again, the word Siksha Guru, we should know, the word Siksha Guru is also used for pure devotees only, actually.
Uh,
The word Siksha Guru is also, as per Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, he puts Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru on the same platform, right? So the word Siksha Guru also refers to pure devotees only, or practicing pure devotees. Fine. So it doesn't mean that Siksha Guru can be less qualified and Diksha Guru has to be more qualified. One of the Siksha Gurus only becomes a Diksha Guru, right or wrong? Like, for example, if I want to take initiation from His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, let's say. Hmm?
hmm.
So then he is, before he becomes my Diksha Guru, he's also my Siksha Guru. Then he becomes my Diksha Guru, isn't it? If I want to take initiation from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, then first of all, I take Siksha from him. I hear his lectures, I follow his teachings, I accept instructions from him. Then I take Diksha from him. Correct? So Siksha Guru, how the way we are using Siksha Guru is little wrong. In what sense? Like, um, we are using it for anyone. We are using it also for the counselor. We are using it also for any devotee who is giving a class sitting on the Vyasasana. We are using it for anyone. Correct.
Mhm.
But
But
Siksha,
generally, Bhakti Bhaksha, Prabhuji,
uh,
whenever a leader in the Bhakti Bhaksha who actually trains and train the devotees and brings up to the Diksha level, do we consider him as a Siksha Guru?
we can consider him as a Siksha Guru because he is doing the role, he's playing the role of a Siksha Guru. That is true. But then at the same time, we know that uh, the way that word is used by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is little on a higher platform.
Okay.
But because we are not on that high platform, and that's why the word has become associated with us also. That okay, I'm a Bhakti Vriksha leader, so in that way, I'm also a Siksha Guru. I am a Bhakti-sastri teacher, so I'm also a Siksha Guru. Or I'm the temple president, so in that way, I'm also a Siksha Guru. Fine.
Mhm.
Now, when we talk about Siksha Guru being Kanishta, Madhyam, or Uttama, the best thing is because one can have multiple Siksha Gurus. So the best is thing is that your Siksha Guru should be at least more advanced than you.
Yeah, obviously.
Right?
Obviously.
So that is one thing. And
Uh,
then there will be many Siksha Gurus. So some
no,
can be little more advanced
Prabhuji,
and
we are learning from one. We learned Shastra from one Siksha Guru, and we also learned Kirtana from one of Kirtan Guru also. They are all Siksha Guru.
they're all Siksha Gurus, true in that sense. But at the same time, when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami uses the word Siksha Guru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses the word Siksha Guru, then they use it for someone who is quite advanced, first of all, and second, whom you go to when you don't have opportunity to inquire on confidential subject matters with your Diksha Guru. Clear understanding,
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
right? So then that person becomes like a Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru. So what I would say is, instead of using the word Siksha Guru, because then that word has a very special meaning, we can just say that he is my Kirtan Guru, or he is my Shastra Guru, or he is my Bhakti Diksha Guru.
Bhakti-sastri Guru.
Huh?
You are also our Bhakti-sastri Guru.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That word, that's how it can be used, you know, like Kirtan Guru, Bhakti Shastri Guru, my
Uh,
Bhakti Vriksha Guru, my
yeah,
Maths Guru, my Science Guru, my deity worship Guru,
yeah, this is the right way to use
right?
it.
That way one can use, you know. Uh, but then the way Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has used the word Siksha Guru is someone whom you approach when you cannot approach a Diksha Guru,
Uh,
which means quite an
Person, yes,
exalted
definitely.
person, right?
So
That's it.
that means after the next level from Diksha Guru is Siksha Guru. So he has to be very exalted person.
Not just next, sometimes equal, sometimes even more.
Uh,
Like say, for example, XYZ took initiation from a Madhyamatikari Vaishnava Guru. But then XYZ after 5 years came across an Uttamatikari Siksha Guru.
mm,
So Diksha Guru was Madhyamatikari, but then came across a Siksha Guru who is Uttamatikari,
uh,
right? So that way also, that's why, I mean, we have to just now how we use the words, that's up to us. That's personal choice. But just if you look at the concept of it, then Siksha Guru concept is someone who is quite exalted, very much similar to our Diksha Guru, right? Isn't it? So that means quite an exalted position. And others are also our gurus. We don't say that others are not our gurus because anything you learn from anyone, that person has become your guru to some extent, isn't it? Right? Even if you are learning material subject matter from someone, then that person is your guru, isn't it? In what sense? Teacher, or you can say, correct?
yes.
So then the word guru can be used, or as Sriti Prabhu says, sikshak can be used, or whatever. Uh, Teacher can be used, and like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm. Um, yes, yes. And all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are Uttamadhikari? May not be, not necessarily. Doesn't necessarily mean that every disciple has to be Uttamadhikari. No, there's nothing like that. It's not that just because someone has spent 50 years in the movement, that person has to become an Uttamadhikari. No, not necessarily true. Or they are directly initiated by Prabhupada, that's why they have to become a Uttamadhikari. No. They can be on Madhyama also. They can be very advanced on the stage of Madhyama, but not necessarily they have to be Uttama. Uttamadhikari means very exalted personality. Very, it said no propensity to criticize anyone. Which means what? The heart is free from? The heart is free from?
Envy or hatred, Prabhu.
Yeah, envy. So the heart is free from envy. Of all the six dosas, lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, envy is the most difficult to give up. And that person has won over this enemy of envy. So free from the tendency to criticize others. That means that person has become very pure. So Uttama is not necessarily that one has to be Uttama if one is initiated by Shiva. Why there is only one female Diksha Guru? Maybe because only she wanted to become, or uh, maybe because no one had any objection in her becoming a Diksha Guru. And for others, there are objections. So, whatever may be the reason. Or maybe in future more will become. Or maybe some people don't want female Diksha Gurus. There can be so many reasons for it. Right? So many reasons for it. Honestly speaking, of course, different people will have their different personal opinion on the subject matter. But honestly speaking, uh, that position of being a Diksha Guru uh, is a very it's a very you know demanding position. It's a very demanding position, and because many women are being in that body of a woman are still very emotional. They will not be able to do justice to that position. That is a fact. No, that's a fact. So therefore, if they want to have a lot of troubles in their personal life, they can happily become a Diksha Guru. No problem. If they don't want to, then they can remain happy being a Siksha Guru. Let them be happy being a Siksha Guru. Mm. Like to give you an example, if there is a if there is a role to play where you need to be more soft and compassionate and and caring, okay, and there's another role to play where you have to be very strict and disciplinary in nature and uh, talk about the rules and regulations and be like an authority. If there are these two roles to play, which one will you give to the father and which one will you give to the mother?
The stricter role to the father.
And caring and soft and kind and nurturing and to the
Mother.
the role of a Diksha Guru is something more on the heavier side, strict, disciplinary, rules and regulations, authority. So I don't know if all women would like to play such a role. Not many would like to play such a role. Rather, a woman, a devotee in woman's body would like to play the role of a kind and caring and compassionate mother, who is giving a lot of love and affection to the devotees and helping them in their Krishna consciousness. I feel so. I think so. Like that would be more naturally acceptable to someone in a woman body. I don't know. Those who are in woman body, they can say. What do you think? Hmm?
Correct, Prabhuji. What you
What
said
you
is
said.
correct.
Yeah, so that's more natural, no? We should know one thing that sometimes in iskcon there is unnecessary envy and competition. We should know there are certain services are associated with certain nature, and if you are of that nature you should do that service. Not that everyone should run after doing every single service if that's not your nature, right? It's not that I can do any service. No, it's not like that. You have your certain nature and you should just focus on that service. That's that's more important, isn't it? Correct? Mhm. You understand? Hmm? That's right. So there's no problem in women becoming Diksha Gurus, but I strongly feel that they may not be very happy doing it. Not all of them. Mhm. But all of them can become nice Siksha Gurus. If they are advanced in Krishna consciousness, they can give Siksha to devotees. That they can do very well, isn't it? That's, that's all.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one question. Is the sadhana bhakti necessary for Uttamadhikari?
Sadhana bhakti necessary for
Uttamadhikari.
means I didn't understand the question.
Uh, Four regulatory principles and 16
Of
rounds
course,
chanting.
why not?
Is it necessary for Uttamadhikari also?
Why not? Why will an Uttamadhikari not follow for relevance?
Now, if the Uttamadhikari, if he is in,
So, but why will an Uttamadhikari not follow?
no, that project, we have that 9 processes of from bhajana kriya till prema, na? Suddha prema.
Yeah, yeah. So they will naturally follow, no?
Naturally, ruchi.
They'll naturally follow. You say 16 rounds. So they naturally chant 16 rounds. Why will they not chant? If they are not chanting, how can they come to the platform Uttamadhikari? They'll naturally follow. Yeah, one doesn't have to tell them to do these things because they'll naturally do it. But it doesn't mean that they are beyond these instructions. They don't have to follow these instructions. No, they'll naturally follow. They'll naturally follow the principles, the teachings, everything they'll naturally follow. Because when you say sadhana bhakti, they are perfection of sadhana bhakti. So they'll have to follow all those things, not naturally. They are perfect in it, isn't it? The one of the ways of defining Uttamadhikari is what? One who is so engrossed in Krishna Prem that just by looking at him, you feel like chanting the holy name. So if by having darshan of such a personality, I feel like chanting the holy name, will that person not be chanting the holy name?
No, Prabhuji, actually, what was my logic was I was thinking that as we are not constantly thinking about Krishna, so as it is imposed on us 16 nouns a day, and reading Shastra, it will help us to remember Krishna every time. But as a Uttamadhikari, I was thinking, this was my perception, that he is constantly engrossed with Krishna Prem, constantly thinking of Krishna. So, so this process, what we do, whether that's why I'm asking whether it is necessary.
No, no, no. But then, though that person is engrossed in thinking of Krishna, externally that person will follow all the rules to set a good example. Because that person also has to teach others, no? So that person will
For
follow
teaching
all the
purpose,
rules.
that's why. But for teaching purpose, he can yes how to do sadhana bhakti.
That's bro, it is simple, na? That why will that person have a double standard in life?
Yeah.
If he's chanting inside, why will he also not chant outside? He will, but he doesn't have to be told.
Hmm.
He will. He doesn't have to be told. He will, right? Therefore, we should know the means and the end are the same in bhakti. If you're chanting, you're supposed to chant, you'll always chant. It's just that at the lower platform, the chanting is done out of instruction, out of obedience, out of force, out of fear, out of dutifulness. But at the advanced state, the chanting is done out of natural love for Krishna. But it is done. Both ways it is done. Right? So it's done. Here also, we are reading the scriptures out of obedience to instruction of Prabhupada that you should read my books. But Uttamadhikari will read the scriptures because he or she wants to always absorb in Krishna Katha naturally. There's nothing else he wants to hear or he wants to speak. That's why reading throughout the day. Right? So there's the only difference of the motivation behind doing it. But the activities remain the same. The motivation changes. Fine. The motivation changes. We go to Mangalarti because we are told we should go. They will naturally go to Mangalarti because they have a great desire to every day see Krishna through the eyes. Fine. Okay, next paragraph. Nagarajan Prabhu.
Uh,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrtam Antilila 4.192. Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpana Se Kale Krishna Tare Kare Atma Sama. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in Bhakti Sandarpa 283 by Srila Jiva Goswami. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Sankshayam Tasmat Diksheti Sa Prokta Desikais Tattva Kovidhai. By Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. We have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.13 prescribes tapasa brahmacharyena samena cha dhamena cha. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice. He must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, Divyam Jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divyam Jnanam is technically called Tad Vijnana or knowledge about the Supreme. Tad Vijnartam Sa Gurum Evabhigachet. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the absolute truth, he should be initiated. Such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21 also prescribes Tasmat Gurum Prabhatyate Jignashu Shreya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in the transcendental science of the absolute truth, he should approach a spiritual master.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So what is Diksha is described here? Because it is said now, by Diksha one comes to the platform of Madhyamadhikari Vaishnava. So Diksha Kale Bhakta Kore Atma Samarpana, Sei Kale Krishna Kale Kore Atma Sama. That's Diksha. Of course, we should know that in Kali Yuga, as time is progressing, the quality of surrender is very much reduced. Uh, when I was reading Jaiva Dharma recently, so there Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mm, writing in a fiction format, and he's talking about the era after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed away and he disappeared from the planet, maybe 50 years after he disappeared. So he's giving example of a person who came to him. I mean, that's just the storyline that there is a Babaji, and then there is a sannyasi who was a Mayavadi before, and he came to the Babaji and asking some queries, spiritual queries. And he gave initiation to that sannyasi, Mayavad sannyasi, and after just 10 days, he told that Mayavad sannyasi who that sannyasi is in the spiritual world in Krishna Leela. What is that sannyasi's constitutional position? So, like in just few days, you come to know even who you are in the spiritual world, right? So, in those days when Mahaprabhu was present on the planet, Diksha was a very, very transforming process because the candidates were also very, very pure, right? And now, at present, Diksha does transform us a lot. It's not that we are not transformed. But the change or the transformation is very gradual because the quality of surrender is not so pure. Here it is said, Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpana. Atma Samarpana basically means what? I give myself completely to you. Now, that kind of surrender is difficult to find, isn't it? It's difficult. Hmm. So, Atma Samarpan, say Kale Krishna Tare Kare Atma Samar. Therefore, honestly speaking, even if you are initiated, should ask yourself, did I actually take Diksha? Did I really completely surrender at the time of Diksha? Have I done? Have I done 100% Atma Samarpana? Do I live my life in a way that my body, my mind, my wealth, my words, every single that it belongs to me, it all belongs to my spiritual master, my Supreme Lord Krishna? If you seriously think about this question, and you are honest and sincere, the answer will be no, right? And that's why when there is this uh, mentality or attitude that I should, though I've taken Diksha, I should still aspire to take Diksha again. And take Diksha again doesn't mean, oh, I have to now find another Diksha Guru and sit in the Diksha Yagya and take the vows again. But basically, let me now try to at least come to that platform which is being spoken about here. Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpada. Sei Kale Krishna Tare Kare Atma Sama. So now, if you read this statement, we understand, right, that Diksha is a process. It's not a one day surrender activity or event. It's a process, isn't it? The day you started following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, you started taking Diksha. You are still taking Diksha, and you will continue to take Diksha, which means you'll continue to follow that process. Till which date? Till that date when you are fully surrendered to Krishna. Then you are Dikshit, or now you are initiated, fully initiated. Fine. So Diksha Kale Shishya Kare Atma Samarpana, Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpana. So this surrender is a gradual thing. We just put a ceremony to it so that that ceremony creates a sanskar on our mind. But we should know that that ceremony, that ritual is not all in all. It's an ongoing process of daily improving our surrender to Krishna and his representatives. Right? Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in Bhakti Sandarbha. Divyam jnanam yato datyat kuryat papasya shanshayam tasma diksheti sa prokta deshi kais tattvako vidhaye. By Diksha, one becomes disinterested in material enjoyment, becomes interested in spiritual life. Correct? Hmm? So by Diksha, that should happen. We should become disinterested in material enjoyment, interested in spiritual life. That is Diksha. Next paragraph. Siddhi Prabhu. Siddhi Prabhu, are there?
Yes, Prabhu. Just a second. Just a second. Yes, Prabhu. One should accept a spiritual master without following. One should not accept a spiritual master without following his instructions. Nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. One must be jignasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science. Jignasu Shreya Uttamam. The word Uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and Ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters. But when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as a Madhyama Adhikari. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord Himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Jahar Kumul Shraddha She Konishta Jan, Krome Krome Tema Bhakta Hoibe Uttam. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte, but by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage, but if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttama Adhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beats. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, he is considered fallen, patita. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So here Prabhupada then talks about Uttama, and then he says that if we chant the holy name offenselessly, Mahamantra, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, we can gradually be elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name and the Lord Himself. Right? Uh, Prabhupada then says that because we cannot chant 64 rounds, we are chanting minimum 16. But we should execute our Krishna consciousness with complete seriousness and without duplicity. Then we can expect the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mhm. Lord Chaitanya is Patita Pavan. And for that, at least I should know or I should feel that I am Patita, a fallen. Then I can call out for mercy. Oh Lord, I'm so fallen, please help me. Right? But the problem is that we all are so proud. We don't even think we have fallen. A Patita. So Baba says, yeah, if one just thinks I am fallen and does the basic what is prescribed, but is sincere and is serious, Lord Chaitanya will help. When Srila Satyaraj Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe, yana mukhe shuni eka bara, Krishna nama sei pujya shrestha sabakara. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. You know that Satyaraj Khan, he asked the same question to Mahaprabhu 3 times, right? He met Mahaprabhu on 3 different visits and he asked the same question. So in the first visit, Mahaprabhu gave this definition that anyone who just chants Krishna's name once, that person is special. That person is, then you should respect that person. But then he said, someone who chants constantly, then that person is more special. And then he said, someone by looking at whom you begin to chant Krishna now, that person is more special. Right? So like, you come in awe. Uh, if one hears a person did that, Ateva Yandra Mukhe Ek Krishna Nam Se Ta Vaishnava Kariha Tandra Samman. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's name should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respects as such, at least within one's mind. Radha Rajan Prabhu, please read it.
Next. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna, or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's names, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect as such, at least within one's mind. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 15.111. One of our friends, a famous famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna, and even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the pictures of Krishna. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnava. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. While giving instruction to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into 3 categories. शास्त्र योग की नाही जाने दृढ़ श्रद्धावान मध्यम अधिकारी सही महाभगवान महाभाग्यवान. Hare Krishna. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered a Madhyamadhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.67. A Madhyamadhikari is a Shraddhavan, staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.64, it is said, Shraddhavan jana haya bhakti adhikari uttama madhyama kanishta shraddha anusari. One become qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service according to the development of his Shraddha faith. Again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22.62, it is said, Shraddha Sabde Vishwas Kahe, Shraddha Nishchaya, Krishna
Tuld
Bhakti,
Nishchaya.
हाँ, Nishchaya,
Tuld
Krishna Bhakti, Kaile Sarva, Karma Krata Haya. Okay. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident form, faith, favorable to the discharge of devotional service, is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men. And whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etat ritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Bhagavad
Thank
Gita
you, Prabhu.
10.14.
Thank you, Prabhu. So here we come to know about um, another way of looking at these three types of Vaishnavas. Based on their faith, they are categorized as Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. Faith, huh? Shraddha. Shraddha Anusari. Based on faith, they are of these three categories. Right? Hmm. Shamala Hari Pradama.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhu. This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instruction of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender on to me. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life. When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevonmukhe hi jihavadav swayam eva sprute ada. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. We cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Just service begins with the tongue. Sevona mukhe he jihavad, which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasada. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna service, always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna. He understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttama Adhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes. Dadati, Pratigruhanati, etc. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavata without being self realized, for by such imitation one will eventually become degraded.
Thank
In,
you.
can you
In this
continue?
verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Right? It's very important that externally we should show ourselves that we are not so advanced, we are very low in Krishna consciousness. Internally, we can make progress and depend on Krishna more and more. Externally, we should try to show that I'm not so advanced, I don't know anything, I'm just learning now Krishna consciousness. So, one should not try to imitate all those who are situated on a higher platform because imitation is another form of envy. When you envy someone, you copy that person because you want to become like that person immediately, right? So imitation is not good. Uh, One should not imitate. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttamathikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttamadhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform. And it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, disciples should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. Right? Okay. Hmm. So one should be very careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. Hmm. Any questions from this verse? Any other question? We'll not do verse 6 today. We'll do 6 and 7 tomorrow. If you have any question, you can ask from this verse today. How about Diksha? What about this subject of Uttama, Kanishta, Madhyama, Vaishnava?
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Can I ask
Shrabaji.
on Ritik?
On Ritvik?
Question on
Question on?
Ritik system. Ritik.
Ritvik system. Okay.
So here actually Diksha is acceptable by a guru, which is very, very essential as per the scriptures. So whether Diksha can be taken from a living guru or non-living guru, what is that controversy? Can you please highlight on this?
So the whole system of Ritvik initiation is shastric, illogical, and something which is uh, socially disruptive, actually. If you look at the Ritvik system, there's not just one point that it is not based on Shastra. It's also very illogical. How it is illogical, I'll tell you. Um, why Diksha is there? First of all, why the process of Diksha?
The spiritual birth. One
Huh?
has to spiritual birth, spiritual progress.
So, what is Diksha then? If, let's say, just sitting in a fire sacrifice, wearing 3 rounds of kantimala around your neck, getting a new name. Does that mean Diksha is done?
No.
Actually, Guru's assurance for spiritual progress.
So, who will give that assurance?
Guru.
If the Guru is not there physically, who is giving the assurance?
That's the question, Prabhuji, whether he
Yeah,
is.
so then you see, that's what. So the thing is, it's not based on scripture, neither is it logical. It's not logical, right? It's not logical. Better than you don't even take Diksha, you just remain as a Siksha disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Oh, I read the books of Prabhupada, I follow the instructions given by Srila Prabhupada, and in that way, I'm a Siksha disciple of Srila Prabhupada. You know. So the whole Ritvik system, I'll tell you something very honestly. The whole Ritvik system is what basically it's like filling in the gap by doing something wrong because you cannot do the right thing.
Okay.
Huh? The Ritviks, those who are Ritviks, who are they? They are those who have gone away from the iskcon movement because they don't accept the current initiating spiritual masters. Now, when they don't initiate the current spiritual masters, initiating spiritual masters, but they preach the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, then any person who reads the books of Prabhupada will ask, Prabhupada is talking about Diksha, so what about my Diksha? And now these people, they cannot give any answer for that question. So they'll say, okay, you want Diksha? Fine, I'll arrange a Diksha Guru for you. And that is Srila Prabhupada. Fill in the gap. You're understanding? You know, they're just filling in the gap. They're using Prabhupada to fill in the gap. So externally, there is the garb of philosophy, but internally there is a cheating tendency or there is a mistake because they are using the books of Prabhupada. So then anyone reads the book of Prabhupada, that person will inquire because everyone has intelligence. So because of intelligence, you will make inquiry. That Prabhupada is talking about initiation. So from whom should I take initiation? Now, because they have rejected the existing initiating spiritual masters in ISKCON, either they have to personally become the Diksha Guru or they'll have to find someone else who can become the Diksha Guru, isn't it? And it is very safe to find Prabhupada as the Diksha Guru. So let's use Prabhupada. That is going on. Better than that, you become the Diksha Guru. At least take the responsibility. And then if you're not qualified, go to hell. But at least take the responsibility. You know, here you're not taking the responsibility and you're just using Prabhupada. That Prabhupada is your Diksha Guru. So it's a very illogical and a corrupt system, basically. Very illogical and corrupt system. Mm, very illogical. You be honest, no. Otherwise, you tell your followers, Diksha is not required. You just follow the teachings of Prabhupada. Just be Siksha disciples of Prabhupada, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's all nonsense. Then why Prabhupada is the only Diksha Guru? Then someone may say, I don't want from Prabhupada, I want from Bhakti Siddhanta. Then you should open that shop also, isn't it? On the day of initiation, you should have multiple shops. You want to take Diksha from Prabhupada, go to that shop. You want to take Diksha from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, go to that shop. You want to take Diksha from Gaurkishore Das Babaji, you go to that shop, right? You want to take Diksha from Rup Goswami, you go to that shop. Because you can take Diksha from anyone. So, very, I mean, illogical people. They'll talk big things from the scriptures or they give arguments and all that nonsense. But little logic also they don't use.
If in our lifetime,
Huh?
in our lifetime, if my Guru Maharaj will leave the body, so in that case, what will be my situation?
This is another question, the second
Same.
question.
Actually, it is continuing the same because living, non-living uh, Guru.
So then you have Siksha Gurus, right? You don't have just Diksha Guru, you have Siksha Gurus.
So will the Siksha Guru will take that same level of responsibility as the Diksha Guru
If
can take?
you have developed such a relationship with such a qualified Siksha Guru, then Siksha Guru will help, right?
Yes.
And the second thing is that the Diksha Guru will also, I mean, because the personality has taken responsibility for you, then Diksha Guru may also make some arrangement. But you have to be honest. You have to be honest, sincere. Krishna will make arrangements. Krishna will help. Hmm.
Yes, Prabhu.
Ritvik people, they may quote scriptures and they make big statements. They may have good sadhana. I have no problem with that. You may be very good in chanting Hare Krishna. You may know the scriptures very well. You may quote Srila Prabhupada very nicely. But the point is, what you are doing is very illogical. So you don't do it. When you don't, then you don't have any Diksha ceremony only. Then you just boldly declare, we are Siksha disciples of Prabhupada, and there's not going to be any Diksha ceremony because we are Ritviks. We don't believe in Diksha. But then to, create a system, artificial system of Diksha is all nonsense stuff. And have Prabhupada Murti there, and then Prabhupada has given you Diksha. Did you ask Prabhupada that are you ready to accept this man or woman as a disciple?
Ultimately, you are deciding.
Huh?
Ultimately, they are deciding whether he will be disciple of Chela Prabhupada or not. Not Chela Prabhupada. Is it?
Hmm. Sorry, Prabhupada will decide, isn't it?
Prabhupada is not deciding. It
Yeah,
is.
that's
It
what.
is.
Prabhupada is not deciding, you are deciding. So did Prabhupada give you the authority to decide? No, Prabhupada did not give you an authority to decide who should be his disciple or not. Prabhupada told you, you become qualified and you accept disciples. So you become qualified,
Hmm. Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
That you do. Prabhupada said you become qualified and then you take disciples, you accept disciples. So then you become qualified. Take that responsibility. But they don't want to take that responsibility. They want to put it on Prabhupada's head. So that's a, of course, the people who are Ritviks, sometimes they may have some grievances towards ISKCON. They may have had some bad experiences in ISKCON, all that. I mean, it's not that they may not be a victim of something, a wrong thing that has happened in the society. It is possible. Huh? But the creation of a false system, that is wrong. Someone may say, my spiritual master Diksha Guru cheated me, therefore I became a Ritvik. Why do you have to become a Ritvik? Your spiritual master, even let's say, cheated you. Go take shelter of your Siksha Gurus. Why you have to become a Ritvik? Isn't it? So the whole idea is what? Mr. Prabhupada is no pure devotee. He was a pure devotee, and after that, I am a pure devotee. That's all. Therefore, I need to have direct relationship with Prabhupada, and no one else can guide me, no one else can help me. I don't believe on. But then, in your Ritvik organization, are you not having a superior devotee guiding the devotees? They also must be having that same concept. They are also playing the role of a Siksha Guru for their new joinees or aspirants and all that. Correct, isn't it? So it's all anyway.
Now we are facing difficulty sometimes. So real difficulty
Yeah, it will be
because of
there.
this.
It's okay, that will be there.
Now, while we are doing prachar here in Bahrain, also we are facing because
Yeah,
there are some
but
Ritviks.
yeah, Ritviks are everywhere.
Yeah, that's why we are facing some uncomfortable situations when
Mhm.
some novice they ask us, and we are finding difficulty in getting the pay.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you,
So we
Prabhuji.
stop here. See
That's
you
good. Thank you
tomorrow.
for wonderfully explaining the Ritvik system and all. Very good.
I did not explain anything about it. I just told you that how I understand it is this
Yes,
way.
thanks,
Right.
Prabhuji.
Hare
That's really helpful.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Madam.
Prabhuji, I wanted to clarify that about that six Goswamis. Like first is Rupa Goswami, then Sanatan Goswami, and then on the third, is it Bhatt Raghunath Das or Bhatt Raghunath or Jiva? I'm confused with that.
If you go from left to right, it is very simple. Just go from left to right. Left to right means you start seeing from left and go right. So the first is Gopal Bhatt, second is Raghunath Bhatt, third is Sanatan, fourth is Rupa, fifth is Jiva, sixth is Raghunath Das.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
If you go left to right,
Prabhuji, first is Raghunath Bhatt, no?
Gopal Bhatt.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you.